Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of October 2024. I hope you're well. I'm using the Tarot of the Abyss for you today. I couldn't remember what it was called for a second there. Couple of things before we begin. If the reading resonates and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That is via link number 1 in the description box. Link number 2 will take you to my private community, which is the Order of the Phoenix over on the Circle platform. You can get access to all of the extended content, so for your, I don't know, for your moon, for your ascendant, depending on what you're watching on, even your Mars and your Venus, for no cost beyond the membership fee, and hang out with an extraordinary group of people, maybe learn a few things too. So if that sounds like it might be of interest to you, you know what to do with that link. Right, Taurus. Let's see what's going on with you. Can I have 3 cards for Taurus, please? Thank you. First card out is the Queen of Wands. It's Aries energy right there. Ooh. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse for your current energy. And what's coming towards Taurus, please? Thank you. We have the Chariot. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. Now, that's Virgo energy here. This is Cancer. This is Virgo energy. And quite often when the Hermit card appears, it's a message that whatever we're going to do, we're going to be doing it alone, right? It talks about the internal journey, and that's not something that generally we can take people on. But I feel like there's a little message here about playing your cards close to your chest, Taurus. Now, I don't know why that should be, and it doesn't mean that you can't push forward with whatever it is that you're doing, and there's certainly no implication that you shouldn't be seen in what you're doing. It's just, have you ever heard that Emily Dickinson quote, tell the truth, tell all the truth, but tell it slant? It's like, be truthful, be honest in your dealings, you know, stand in your integrity, but understand that most people can't hear the truth full on. You got to drip feed it in, right? And I do feel that there's something about your future plans that have an aspect of this, and I'm not sure why that should be. I don't know if it's because the reaction that you might get off other people would be sufficient to have you second guessing yourself, and that's not the energy that we want you to be in at the moment, or whether it is just a good practice to under promise and over deliver. I think that's part of Taurus's wheelhouse anyway. But whatever else, keep your cards to your chest. Let's get some clarifiers out. Tell me about the Queen of Wands, please. Well, that went on the floor. Give me a second. We have the 9 of Cups. Ooh, and 2 cards. We have the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Wands again. Lovely. Tell me about the 5 of Cups. Why is this here for Taurus, please? It's the 5 of Cups in reverse here for Taurus. King of Cups, Scorpio. Actually, double Scorpio energy there. About this. 7 of Swords, 10 of Cups. And tell me about the Chariot card. Why is this here for Taurus, please? Thank you. Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to put that the right way up because it's the one card in the tarot that for me means the same reversed and upright. I don't actually feel like its presentation has any effect on the kind of energy that it brings. Tell me about the Chariot card, please. Why is the Chariot here for Taurus? Page of Wands. But that is in the reverse, so we're going to leave it that way. Right. We have the 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck, which is also adding a little bit of credibility to this feeling that I've got that you've got to kind of moderate what is put out. For some of you, you know, the whole thing of playing your cards close to your chest, and I'm thinking about this specifically with regard to the Queen of Wands showing up so dominantly as she has here, is that there might be quite a subtle thing here of not broadcasting where it is that you are afraid or you feel that you are not enough, or you know, any kind of doubts that you might have. You know, if you have those, keep them to yourself. This is not the time to broadcast them, and it's certainly not a time to hide behind them. in so much as sometimes what we try and do is manage expectations. Now, in the moment, if you caught us doing this, we would not say that this is what we were doing. But if there is doubt, if there is fear of failure, if there is fear of any of these things, sometimes what we do is try and downplay what we're involved in, manage expectations so that people don't expect too much and then they won't be disappointed, right? And more specifically, Taurus, you yourself won't be disappointed if something doesn't go quite as well as you would hope that it goes. Thing is, everything that I'm seeing here on the table is screaming the reverse. And there's something here about managing the exterior and not deliberately chiseling cracks into it. Now, there's been a peculiar thing that's happened with these October readings, which is that the titles have come before I've even started recording. Now, it's not usually the way that I do things. Usually I record the reading and then I go, oh, what the fuck was that about? And then I write a title that sums up what that's about. And in every single case so far, here it is, I have had the titles in the meditation that I did before I started the reading. So for you, Seismic Undulations. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that title, but I just wanted to remind myself of what it was that came through in the meditation, right? And what I saw was the ground shifting. Now, normally this would be something that would be utterly terrifying, right? Because earthquakes and all that kind of thing. But there was a really interesting quality to the way that the ground was moving, and it actually felt like it was kind of rolling up with the way that it was undulating. So whilst the ground is moving, and whilst we seem to be going from here to over here, it wasn't doing it by way of, some earthquake, thunderclap kind of horrible shake. It was more like riding a wave, but of the earth. And I think you yourself, Taurus, are catching a wave. And the only thing at this point that would slow down or impede your progress rather, would be the profession of any kind of self-doubt, profession of having anything other than absolute belief in what it is that you're involved with, right? Because these professions of self-doubt, whether they've come through by way of, managing expectations or trying to, immunize yourself against the possibility of failure, they're not what your situation requires. So we've got boundaries here, but the boundaries don't feel like they necessarily have to be towards, look at that, towards other people. They're more like boundaries that you hold with yourself, where there's the possibility of an old version of you trying to bleed through just a little bit, but it's not really in alignment with the new you, who you are. So, certainly versus 2018, right, when Uranus went into your sign. But, so much has happened since. And the sense of this, let's try not to cram this into sentences too much, this upward trajectory that is almost starting to take on a life of its own is really, really strong. So let's start over here. Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is, like all the queens, I think, in charge of helping us understand whatever suit it relates to. So in this case, the Queen of Wands is understanding our own behaviours and, mechanisms, the reasons why we do things. But additionally, the Queen of Wands has this built-in visibility about her. You don't miss the Queen of Wands when she walks into a room. It's Aries energy, right? So it's vital warrior energy, and all that sort of thing. But where the King of Wands is the active expression of that, the Queen of Wands is going to be the passive expression of that. Now, she's still Wands, she's still fire, so there's still going to be there's going to be something that's coming from the inside out. But she seems to be making sure that she understands why she's on this path, why she's doing these things in the first place, before she goes any further. We've got the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Wands again. The universe saying, I said what I said, I didn't stutter. And She's associated with creativity and passion and all the things that we love about the one suit, right? But it's the alignment of all of those with action that really makes the difference. Now, why is the action happening? Where is the action taking you? What was the initiation point of this action? Well, it was the Nine of Cups. A card that speaks both of how you manage your emotions, because that's what the nines are all about for me. How do you manage these things? Are you managing them well? And the Nine of Cups says, yes, you are. But the Nine of Cups is also about what your dream is. Right? It shares a meaning somewhat with the Star card, in so much as it does represent your highest goals, hopes, dreams and aspirations. But the difference between the Star card and the Nine of Cups is that the Star card can be sometimes somewhat abstract, right? It's major arcana energy. It's kind of forcing itself at you, and there's a question of whether you receive that or not. That question of whether you receive that or not, and whether you choose to act on it or not, would be answered by cards in the minor arcana, because those are the things that are under your control. So it's saying your emotions are under a pretty good control at the moment, because you are funneling your energy towards something that is really meaningful for you, unencumbered by pessimistic emotions or negative self-talk or that kind of thing. But we have to accept that there will be residual noises left over from a Taurus that existed in a previous cycle to the one that you're in right now. And I think, having spent the last 6 years, if we even just use Uranus and Taurus as the example, although I know there have been many other transits that have affected you since, what it's done for you is shaken yourself out of a place where you would have talked yourself out of all sorts of things that you're doing now, and put you squarely in a place where you're like, no, I have this. Right? I have this good emotional stability. I have all of these things going on here. I'm going to push towards my goals, and I'm not going to stop until I reach them. And this Knight of Cups is actually bringing in this interesting feeling of being of service somewhere. And I don't know why, because I don't usually read the Knight of Cups like this. It's like there's something here that you are giving from this enlightened state of pursuing your dreams that is now going to feed other people. And it's really, really important that you maintain the momentum on that, and don't allow anything that is of the residual cycle to come back in and have you deviate from that course of action. So when we move into your current energy, we've got the Five of Cups in reverse, and although it's minor arcana, this is such a powerful presentation, because in order for the Five of Cups to show up at all in the reverse, it has to have shown up before in the upright. There's just simply no other way for this card to present like this. Now, this card is about being stuck. It's about feeling loss. It's about feeling grief. I mean, sometimes this comes from a place of bereavement, but others it can be divorce. It can be all sorts of things. I mean, we as humans grieve when we lose things, and whether it's people, pets, relationships, jobs. Sometimes whatever it is. But this card specifically speaks to staying in that state rather than allowing ourselves to kind of pass through it. And I think that part of what is really hitting home with you, Taurus, is the extent to which this energy here has permeated through all of your decision making, all of your experiences for a very long time. This is a statement of the fact that you have finally lifted your head and you are moving forwards. Now, it does not mean that whatever hurt you about what happened before, whatever grief or loss cycle you were in for a long time, it doesn't mean that will no longer pain you. It means that you found a place for it to exist in your heart. Without it influencing decisions that you make moving forwards. It's this really strange reading, Taurus. I can feel the strangeness of it as it's coming out of my mouth. We have the King of Cups, like I said. That's also Scorpio energy, just like the Five of Cups is. And this speaks about the emotional maturation, right? The King of Cups doesn't walk around, wearing his heart on his sleeve or anything like that, and he's certainly not an emotional wreck. He is truly in control of his emotions. He recognises that those are transitory, those are fleeting, and we are not our emotions. There's been some kind of separation from your previous life experiences and the previous way that you have dealt with them. And this separation's allowed you to transcend the previous limitations that you set for yourself. Now, this is huge, Taurus, because the corollary of that is that you are now feeling more able to take a risk on something. Now, maybe it feels like a risk to you where it wouldn't, say, for example, for an Aries or a Sagittarius. But as fixed Earth, as the point of contact, right, for the rest of the zodiac with the ground, you are creating a new foundation from which the rest of the zodiac can also spring. And it's solid. It's absolutely solid. And this is why, I'm going to keep beating this drum on you, to you, Taurus. It's like, whatever tries to bleed through from the old cycle, it really is a case of acknowledging it for what it is, thanking it for its concern, and then pushing it to one side while you carry on with the very important work that you're doing, whatever that is right now. As for some of you, this will be a work-related thing. For some of you, it will be a creative project. For some of you, it may simply be the way that you are choosing to live your life now. And I really do feel that for some of you, there is a really good community around you. For more of you, though, you're ready to start looking for that really good community. The Ten of Cups is about endings. It's about completions, actually. And it's the sting in the tail of the Ten of Cups. It's like, we can't take everyone with us. We can't stay in our comfort zone and grow at the same time, and sometimes a casualty of that is the people that we have spent so much time with. But when your frequency changes, the ways in which you were aligned with people changes, and you simply can't take those with you anymore. I feel like the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles can actually cause infinitely more anxiety and stress than the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands, because it requires a mindful release of what historically has been familiar to us, if not comforting, at least familiar, in order that we can kind of strike out and find something different. Now, I get a sense here, Taurus, that for a lot of you, you're in that kind of place where you're moving away from a certain set of people and you're moving towards a different set of people, and you're ready to put quite a few people into the past to keep going, to keep moving forwards. Move out this Ten of Cups. I've got the World card. Oh, and I just got massive goosebumps. I don't know if you can see that, Taurus, but holy fucking shit. We also have the Ten of Pentacles. Now, these all represent completions. Like I said, there's a really positive way of looking at it, which is, both the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, and how interesting that should have brought both of those up, and then here they are. They can represent happy families. They can represent, the zenith of what it is that we set out to achieve at points in the past where the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles were on the table. But what I'm feeling here is that what you're going through is a transcendent experience that is being experienced by you, both in the emotional but also in the physical. Some of you are moving home. Some of you are just upping sticks and going. Others of you may be launching some sort of new business. But there's something that you've had to let go of, and maybe that is paid employment, the security and the stability of paid employment, in order to really devote yourself to what you're doing. But the World card says here, like, you've hit graduation point. And I love how this fits in exactly with the title that I was given, because these kind of movements, the ones that you are now taking no, let's not say taking for granted, because that's incorrect. These movements that you are now accepting are part of your story, and you're really devoting yourself to, pushing yourself toward, would have been simply impossible for you just a few short years ago. Now, with that erratic and stress-inducing sudden energy of Uranus, where you're used to being catapulted from a place of security to, abject horror, shall we say, or a state of grief, or any one of a number of things that Uranus has set across your path in the last few years. You've become accustomed somewhat to navigating out of very unbalanced situations. And now you have personally instigated this change, whatever this change is for you. And like I said, it could be different for each of you. And it does not feel even slightly as roller coastery or whiplash inducing as anything else. So seismic undulations, as you're moving forwards, right? But you're almost kind of riding the wave of ground that is malleable and moving. And it's not freaking you out. Like, there's so much here about determination and, those things that we associate with Taurus anyway. What's the word that I was looking for there? I can't think. It disappeared. It surfaced briefly and then it disappeared. Tenacity, determination, resilience, standing firm. But just as I talked about for you, in 2020, this is how far back we're going with this. You've learned to put the security and the stability inside you. I really do feel like you've arrived at the end of a cycle, right? You graduated, you're leveling up. This is massive. And so, you're recognizing these for exactly what they are. The people are changing. The environment is changing. For some of you, you might be moving. The landscape that you have felt so very much a part of and tried very hard to resist any movement within is now undulating, and you're riding that wave. You're going with that, which is huge. And this is why this is not the time to let anything residual bleed through. And that can go as far as people, all right? If you know that time has been called on a particular person in your life, or even a particular set of people in your life, then let them go. That's fine. But I feel like it's more to do with doubt than anything else, right? God, am I really on the right path? Am I really about ready to risk all sorts of things? And the answer is yes. It absolutely is yes. I don't think that this is a temporary little wobble. I think it's an expression of how far away from your previous comfort zone centre you're ready to go. And you're just double checking with yourself. So the message is, have the boundaries with yourself as far as you allow yourself to entertain those thoughts, but actually be mindful of what you're letting out there into the world as well. It's almost like create the space by way of this exterior for yourself in the world and allow yourself to catch up to it, because that's essentially what's happening here. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be, stunningly beautiful, although as a Venus ruled sign, chances are it is going to be stunningly beautiful. You just create that little space there where you are confident and 100% invested in whatever movement you are making now, So when we come to October, we have movement, and it is really quite spectacular movement, because we've got the Wheel of Fortune here and we've got the Chariot. Now, what is slightly odd about this is the Page of Wands. Unless the movements that we are making are not at a Page of Wands level. Now, you have double major arcana showing up for you in October, Taurus, and that's not a joke. That's big energies right there, particularly when one of those energies is the Wheel of Fortune, which is a Jupiter-ruled card. We are talking about big expansion, big movement up. And we've got the Chariot card. Determination, victory, success, grit, all of these sorts of things that assure your victory. It's a big go sign. There could well be movement. I mean, if some of you are moving house, October may be the month where it's happening. But if you're not physically relocating yourself, then what's happening here, Taurus, is whatever you are involved in, whatever it is that you are dedicated to, whatever it is that all of this musing over here was involving, and the extent to which there's this separation from what has been in your current energy here, whatever it is that you're moving towards, or you've been setting the groundwork for moving towards, here in October is where it happens. Now, tell me about this Page of Wands in the reverse, please. Why is he here reversed? We have, wow, the Nine of Cups and the Lovers, right? And look at that, Queen of Wands is back again. Let me just close this a bit more. There we go. The Queen of Wands is back again. There she is. She's appeared 3 times. What she's saying is, I haven't just been there in your recent past, I'm actually literally here in your future as well. This is a consistent energy of initiation, bold initiation, confident initiation, that you are carrying through with you right the way through this period. And it's supported by the universe. The universe is sitting, waiting, ready for, there's an element of timing here, but ready for you to really all in on something. Now, when I talk about the Page of Wands, I've often reference, the pages full stop, but I quite often reference the Aces as well, because both of these talk about initiation. In the case of the Aces, though, the initiation is something so very new that it's just completely outside of your sphere of experience before, right? You've never seen the world like this before, in the case of the Ace of Swords, right? Because it's completely restructuring your perception of the world. Ace of Wands, I've never done anything like this before. I've not experienced it before. I've never felt this before. I've never, put my attention on something like this before. There's a huge novelty about it. Whereas for the Pages, it's about taking something that you already have and doing something else with it, right? Either allowing it to take you in a different direction, or you taking what that is and you consciously moving it in a different direction. I can't help but feel that this Page of Wands is saying there are no small steps for you to take here. No small process of sticking your toe in the water. Like, this is an all-in energy, and you don't get to kind of sit around the edges of it. We've got 3 major arcana now on the table. And notice that we have that Nine of Cups showing up again. There's the Nine of Cups right there. Another energy that is following through. When I talk about past energy, it could be this morning when you got up, but it could be 6 weeks or so back from here. That's usually about the time frame that I would give it, like 6 weeks. So you've got the energy of the Queen of Wands that has been walking through all of this with you. You've got the energy of the Nine of Cups that is also walking through all this with you. But more importantly than that, there is an alignment with the universe that is happening here. There's an alignment with path. There's an alignment with a purpose. And it says, actually, the only thing that you need to be concerned about is what you've been concerned about all of this time. Being passionate, being creative, being absolutely certain that the steps that you're about to take are the steps that need to be taken. Right? Understand why you're doing this. There's no surprise, I think, that the Queen of Wands and the Nine of Cups are showing up together in both instances. It's like, be in a continuous state of reminding yourself why you are taking the actions that you are. Why are you doing this? Now, it would make a lot of sense if, for example, the King of Wands was to show up here, because then we've got, all of the the processing stuff that's happened with the Queen of Wands, and then we have the King of Wands, which would be that active expression of what it is that you've worked out over here, right? They work in tandem very well together. But in your case, what you've done is absolutely leapfrogged over the top of that, and instead you've got the universe going, well, now you've arrived at the place that you're supposed to be. Allow me to expand everything for you. It's like, it's a question of faith here, Taurus, and a willingness to allow the universe to take you where it's going to go, even if there's a possibility that you may go, oh, this is even a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's like, hold on to these two energies here, because this is the dream, this is the goal, this is what you're headed towards. And the universe fucking wants it for you bad. Look at this, the Chariot. This is a card of the self, and this is a card of alignment. You know, we talk about the Chariot card in terms of introducing a level of equilibrium and balance into oneself, such that there are no obstacles to anything that you want to do. There's simply a matter of how much work it's going to take, right? So the Chariot is here going, well, you've done everything that you needed to do to balance yourself out. Now you're ready to just go in that straight line, whichever direction you want. But then the Wheel of Fortune is also blowing this up. It's expanding this. And the Lover's card, which is a card of manifestation for sure, but it's a kind of manifestation, passive manifestation, that comes by just kind of scooching your ass into line with where the universe wants you to go. And the universe goes, oh, wicked, like Taurus is assembled, let's go. Let's go. And all of this actually aligns with what you have dreamed for yourself, what you really want for yourself. You got into alignment with the universe, and you sorted out all of the things that were holding you back. And now it's time. And there's no room to backtrack on anything. Not that I think that you would backtrack, but this is why I said you've got to be careful about that, turning down the dial on that doubt, on that internal narrative that may be freaking out about the scale of what it is that you're about to do. There are no small steps here, Taurus, only bold steps that take you closer and closer to what ultimately will fulfill you. This is huge. Seismic undulations indeed. So I'm going to go and do the extended now. If you would like to join me over there, you're very welcome to do so. You can do that on Circle, or you can do it on Vimeo. We're going to really dig into the energies of October here and see what's going on. If you don't feel like doing that, that's absolutely fine. May I offer my congratulations on such a magnificent spiritual levelling up as you're experiencing right now. It's cool, and I'm very, very proud of you. So I shall leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.